What is up, gang? Justin here, aka No Good Comics, and welcome back to the channel. Tonight is another night that we are talking music, not comics, but music. We are talking about the debut album of Boston from 1976, I think. This is a show that we've been kicking off now. This is our third episode altogether. So anyone who's new, who's just jumping in, is a little confused that we have a music album focus as opposed to comic books. This is just something that we wanted to do because we've been having a lot of fun with it. We all are passionate for music just as much as we are comics, and this is just a fun thing for me. So we're going to keep going with this. So of course, when I say we, it's not just me; it is my co-hosts and good friends. Let me bring them in here. We got John and Noah hanging out with us. What is up, fellas?
Oh, hey guys, what's going on?
Good. That is the album right there, and
this is the album.
I need to add that. Have you had that for a while?
I think so. Yeah, I have had this. This isn't the original.
This isn't something you went and bought like just the other day, right?
No, yeah, I didn't buy it the other day. No, I've had it for a while, but
nice.
I do want the original now though. It has that. Yeah, I got that itch now for the original, like in original pressing.
We're just talking about slowing down on buying comics, but here we go.
Yeah, that doesn't mean slowing down on music. No.
Yeah. It's a space issue for me either way.
Yeah, it will be soon for me.
Exactly. Well, hey, for those watching right now, or if you're watching the replay, make sure you are following and subbed up to these gentlemen here. John, Big Daddy Ross over on Instagram, and Noah, Broke Boy Comics, has a YouTube channel and an Instagram account. So make sure you are following them, subscribe, and everything is down below. Like I mentioned, this is our episode 3. How you boys feeling just in general with how we've been going so far?
I'm wound up. I keep thinking of albums like that I want to introduce to you guys.
Hell yeah.
Our last show we talked about Avantasia, and you mentioned that there were 2 other albums in that trilogy. Today I was in the shop and I was listening to Scarecrow, and to be honest, I kind of like that album, I think, a little bit more. Yeah, and maybe it was just the way, that, what I was doing and stuff.
Yeah,
it kind of fit. But I wasn't as focused. Maybe that might be part of it, is that I wasn't as focused on it. It was just kind of in the background.
Yep.
But and I have gone back and listened to Wild Cherry a couple times. It's like that album's got some good bop to it. So
yeah. Heck yeah.
I'm enjoying the show, and enjoying the fact that you guys are giving me new music really to listen to.
Absolutely. Hey, that's the whole point of this show, right? Just
exactly.
3 guys that are from different ages in our lives and come from different backgrounds, and but I feel like, as we've mentioned before, all very just open-minded to to music in general, and we certainly definitely have very similar tastes all around, and that's, I think, why we connected so well, the 3 of us. And to your point, John, the Scarecrow is without a doubt probably the better album, at being the first one. And again, I'm almost kicking myself that we didn't just get into that one first with everything else. I got so caught up in some of those epic tracks that I wanted to play, but it's a bit more radio friendly too, that first album of the 3. And then
Alice Cooper.
And then right, yes, it does. It does. Yeah, they changed up some of the guests too, some other really big names. And then the other thing I was gonna say was, you brought up Wild Cherry. Anytime now, because that song came on the other day. Oh, I was at a wedding, and I'm like, the song comes on, and immediately I'm like, I know so much about this album right now, and all you people that are dancing to this one song, there's a lot more other good songs on this album, and nobody knows about them. So I just thought that was, that's now that I hear these albums, I'm just like, yep, I know a lot more about these now. So thanks to you, Noah. Thanks for putting that one on. What about you, Noah? What are your thoughts generally, so far out the show?
Oh no, I'm pumped. I love that we're doing this. I love reviewing albums that I already am in love with, and I love reviewing albums that I've never even heard before, and ones that I like. That Wild Cherry album, if you guys watched that first live stream, like, I picked that. I listened to that for the first time maybe a week before I picked it.
Yeah.
And it was like, I just found this, guys. I wanted to share it with someone. So it's really cool having you guys, and we all have similar music tastes, and being able to share music like we do with comics, just the love for it and everything. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, let me say a quick hello to the chat, and then we can kind of dive in here. Of course, it's our guy Matt, Impress Comics, hanging out. Another
Welcome, Matt.
big music fan here. Yeah, he was looking forward to this one. Says I'm hoping to get more than a feeling out of this episode tonight. I'm with you, brother.
Just don't let me take you home tonight.
Yeah.
Ah.
All right. So John, since this is your this was your pick, why don't you kick us off with your thoughts on this album?
Yeah, so I've kind of got a love-hate relationship with this album, to be honest.
What's the hate part? I'm curious.
Well, okay, so this album came out in 1976, and I started getting into music about that time. And that this album was everywhere. I mean, it was just everywhere. And it's a fantastic album. I can't deny that. But by about 1980, I was pretty much sick of it. So I did not listen to this album for over 20 years.
Wow.
And it was literally one of those albums that, like, when it would come on, I would hit the button to get away from it as far as I could.
Yeah.
And then in 2002, I saw them live, and they blew me away. And I fell in love with them all over again. And I've really been hooked on them since. And I mean, it's nice, as I talk to you guys, or as I watch other reaction channels, and they give me an appreciation of these albums that maybe I was a little bit burnt out on. Maybe I didn't, I just kind of had become, maybe had just kind of just thought were kind of boring, So, yeah. And the fact that, I mean, we'll get into it a bit, I think, but the backstory behind this album is pretty amazing. When I look at music now, and I just had a friend over on Saturday rather, who was a music producer or a recording engineer. And, when you start hearing some of the backstory to this album, it's very unique. So.
Oh yeah. And is that part of why you chose this album, or what made you like lean into this I know you said you have a list as far as, albums that you want to eventually get into, but like what stood out to this one as your first?
Well, I mean, when I talked to you two guys, the fact that you hadn't heard it all or hadn't like listened to it from end to end.
Yeah.
And that Noah was kind of like, well, I own it, but I haven't listened to it in a long time.
Yeah. I listened to it end to end, but I haven't listened to it in a long time.
Right. It's one of those, I just don't get the impression that, like I've listened to this album a lot. I mean, this album got played and played and played. This is an album that I had on vinyl. I had it on an 8-track so I could listen in the car. I had it on cassette, it just got played, and that's why I think I got burned out on it. So,
yeah.
Crazy.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And I just think, any album that, again, this is 1976. So this is the same year that Wild Cherry came out. And, this album sold 17 million albums.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Definitely not to the scale that Wild Cherry was at, but
yeah, I don't know where they're at. The single might be there.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, as far as plays,
that single might be there.
I'm gonna look up the Spotify number of plays while we talk about that, but that's a good point. I feel like I've shared that I used to work in a record store years ago, and I feel like this was an album that I always saw on the greatest hits rack or the must have or must listen to, whatever racks that we had set up in the stores. It was constantly being, highlighted or recognized as just a classic and a great album. And it was just one I just never got around to like listening. Obviously there's just a ton of stuff that I'm sure I haven't listened to front to back. Of course I know the hit single out of everything, but But yeah, like as you brought it up initially, John, I'm like, yeah, I've never just like sat down and listened to the whole thing. Maybe one or two other tracks here and there, random that came on as part of a playlist or something, but never just sat. And I'm one, as we talked about, I'm one to usually. I mean, I love listening to albums front to back, typically. Again, with my metal, at least, maybe not always with certain other types of music, but certainly, like the idea of it in general. So
that's interesting to me. Like, where do you guys stand in regards to like top 10 or recommended or must listen to, or are you guys likely to jump into it and check it out, or are you likely to, I mean, a lot of people are likely to push it away and say, yeah, everybody's listening to that, I don't want to listen to that. Where do you stand on that?
Are you saying like a top 10 like albums?
Anything like, for example,
like top 40, like, are you one to go and just listen to hits and radio stuff all the time?
No, I'm thinking more in terms of like when people say this is an all-time classic, like I give you I'm a film fan. I like movies, and the American Film Institute did the 100 best movies, American movies, and I went out and bought them all and watched them because I wanted to see what was so great about these movies. And it introduced me to a lot of movies that I'd never seen before. So when people say, oh, this is the 10 best this or the 10 best that, I have a tendency to at least check it out. Yeah. But in some respects, there are times when I just want to go, everybody's listening to that. I don't want to listen to that, so
I'm usually open to it. Typically, I'm usually open to. I'm never like I never like push it away per se, but it's more for me curiosity than anything else, and that's just with anything. You could tell me it was a classic, or you could tell me it sold 5 records and died out after that. Like I would be curious, like, why did it even have a name? Why was it even recognized to begin with? Like, or like, what is it that's so bad about this or so good about that or whatever. So I think it's definitely falls down to a mood thing. If I'm like, I got to be in the mood to like want to explore, but once I do, and even I know you didn't say top 40s, but like even things like right now, I'll go to like Spotify for like a top 40s just to listen to. Oh, did I freeze? Did I just freeze?
A little bit
for a second, and you're good now.
Okay. But yeah, I would, I'll go to like a top 40 and listen to that if I just to like know like what's out right now, like what's the thing that people are listening to, these age groups or whatever. So yeah, I'm usually open to it though.
I'm extremely attracted to the stuff that is like controversial. Like when you're talking horror films, like these are the goriest. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've got to go watch that and see like what's the big deal. It's like,
Hi Liz.
Hey Liz.
Played the album and left Overture.
Oh yeah, I know Liz well.
Nice. And Ryan's in the chat. What's up, Ryan?
Hey, what's up? No, I totally understand. Like, I'm definitely also the same with you guys, like curious, like if there is, this is, one of the best albums of all time, or, hey, this album just won like, album of the year. I'm definitely curious. I'm like, I'm interested to see what all the hype's about and everything. And, but I understand the other flip side of it being, if something's overplayed all the time and you hear it all the time and everyone's listening to it, it's like, okay, like, I'm kind of sick of this. I'm ready to like listen to something else. Like, I totally get that. So hearing this album for, years, having it be overplayed, like, I'm sure that gets tiresome for sure.
Yeah. Like anything repeated like too many times, it could be my favorite album, but yeah, I guess it really, to your point, John. Yeah. Like if you force me to listen to something that's, like 100 times in a row, I'm just
tiring.
Now,
for sure.
So this album is like widely considered to be one of the best debut albums of all time.
Yeah.
And for anybody that doesn't know, Tom Schultz, the guy behind it, he was an MIT graduate, and he basically recorded this album in I don't want to say a basement, but
no,
basically a basement.
It was a basement.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've read a couple different things as to whether it was a studio that he was kind of renting that was kind of a basement, or that would flood once in a while. But yeah, I mean, in today, now that with computers and everything else, that's relatively common. But in 1976, it was not.
Right.
And so here's this guy who's a kind of a perfectionist. And what always boggled my mind, and what I love to see people react to, is the fact that he recorded most of the instruments, not all. I've seen it reported that, he played all the instruments. No, he didn't. He had Brad Delp singing, obviously, and then he had a couple different guys drumming, and a couple other guys that they were in a band called Mother's Milk, and they would pull people in. But primarily, this is Tom Schultz. He wrote all of the songs except for two. He co-wrote "Smokin'" with Brad Delp, and Brad Delp wrote "Let Me Take You Home Tonight" solely. So this album is really, like, to me, the work of a mad genius, kind of, because this album is something else, in my opinion. And the fact that he did all of this stuff himself is just kind of mind-boggling. I mean, he sent it out to several different record labels, and they turned him down. And in fact, the record label that they eventually ended up signing with, the executive said, "There's nothing new on here," and basically pushed it away. And they were able to kind of loop around and get back in. And when they did come back in, and they were getting ready to sign the contract, they were told that you have to play live in front of the, like, Columbia. I think it was Columbia, because Epic was the label that they were on, but I think Columbia owned them. You have to play live in front of the Columbia executives. So he had to kind of put the band back together. Now, they were all guys that he had played with before. So he kind of pulled them all together, and they went off and they played. But they were, even the record executives were like, yeah, this is some mad scientist in a basement making this album. And when the album was recorded, the contract was that they had to do it in LA with a union recording engineer. And they managed to kind of skip around all of that and still re-record it in Tom Schultz's basement. So,
yeah, this was a crazy story, and I had done a little research on my end with just the background and stuff, and got the full details. And I mean, he was in a time where we talked about, I went to school for audio, and I learned about a lot of different, starting with like the Beatles and everything else, where people were recreating sounds that they wanted, that were not normally, it wasn't conventional ways of creating sounds. And this just reminded me of more of that, because this guy, Schultz, was like, I wanted my guitars to sound this certain way. And he started to create pedals that like didn't exist yet,
right.
Just to get these sounds that were in his head that he was trying to replicate. And I found that to be fascinating. And I just love that, obviously I hear names like Beatles, but like, I didn't know that this is someone else in a basement trying, and I'm sure there's so many more, but it's just so cool to hear, his process in doing all this. And here we are, it being this massive, record that's sold as much as it has. It's really, really cool to see.
Wow, I didn't even know any of that. I actually didn't I didn't actually do much research on this album on my end. Wow, yeah, that's fascinating story, and just the way he made that. Yeah, it sounds very innovative to do all that in his basement. Like,
yeah. When I was talking to one of my friends this weekend, and we were talking about how, like in the late 70s, the drive was that everybody would put an album out about every 6 months. And the first Boston album came out in 76. And there were other bands that were coming out about the same time, Foreigner and some of those. And it was funny, and Kiss was putting out a new album every 6 months, and so they're just jamming out these albums. And as a consumer, I don't know, the internet didn't exist, but I'm a young guy and I'm buying these albums. And, I'm like, Foreigner's on their third album. Boston still hasn't put another album out yet. It's like, what's going on? And it was just that Tom Scholz was such a perfectionist that he would not let stuff go,
Yeah. Can really slow a process down. It was interesting too that he was when people did think, I know you mentioned, like, for the majority, he recorded the guitars, the bass, he had drummers and vocalists kind of come in for certain other parts, but they were saying that he really did try to frame it in the beginning as basically that he has a band. Like, don't tell the label there's a band in place. Yep, all that you hear, that's a group of us. And he didn't, and it was really just him and the little one-offs that he had recorded. So when they did find out, they're like, wait, so he doesn't have a band? Like, even like the lead singer was like, wait, so there's no band? Like, there's one guy? Like, I loved hearing that, because, like, like you said, it's a one-man band and it's all in his head. And for that time, like, yeah, it was hard to do that because the equipment was super expensive. To get studio time was super expensive. It's not like today where you could just buy a laptop and you essentially have practically tools that can produce something decent. Right. Right. So for him to, now granted, I think they said he worked for Polaroid after MIT.
He did work for Polaroid. Yeah.
So he had, he was making,
making good money. He was
decent money, but
he was able to afford this stuff. I mean,
yeah,
he's dealing with the Hammond B3 organ, and I can't think of the name of the speaker that rotates there. And I've got a friend that's got a couple of them, and it's just, that stuff was not cheap at that time.
Yeah, right.
And,
plus, he was at one point paying for studio time in the beginning, like before, because they said he submitted like several other, what do you call it? Like tracks demos, before this one hit. So, even it was like late 60s or whatever. So that I imagine also ate up a lot of his money.
Yeah. The thing about, I know that, if I hear Tom Scholz's guitar or Brian May, because Brian May made his own guitar, they're so distinctive that, I can just tell that's Brian May or that's Tom Scholz, and Tom's done with effects because he's usually playing a Les Paul, but Brian made his own guitar. So
yeah. Celtic Wolf here with some interesting comments.
Yeah, you're right, Bob.
Yeah, talking about the top 10 lists. I mean, yeah, it's like who officially makes these lists, sometimes makes you wonder. I did want to say a quick hello to Chris. What's going on, Chris? And Kenneth Bird also hanging out in the chat. Good to see you guys.
A couple of my friends on here tonight. That's good to see.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
So all right, so let's get into the album. All right.
Yes, let's do it.
Opening track is More Than a Feeling, one of the first singles. My opinion, the first side of this album, and I know we talked a little bit about it on the last Avantasia, that was a double album. And I was thinking that album sides were longer, but the reality of it is the long side on this one's 20 minutes. So yeah, 15 to 20 minutes is about right for an album side.
Yeah.
I guess I never really gave that much thought, but that's about right. But yeah, this first side is, to me, one of the best ever.
Yeah, the first half of this album is just peak. Like there's hit after hit after hit. Like honestly, there's so many unskippable songs. So many got added to my favorites playlist. I'm like, I don't know why I didn't have any of these songs in any of my playlists. Like it boggled my mind. I was like, this needs to go here, this needs to go there. It was funny. But But I will say the second half of the album, I think "Smokin'," that is probably one of my top favorite songs from this album. It became so the other side has some good ones too, but yeah, like you said, the first half was definitely a lot of good hits in it.
Yeah, for me, when I first started to listen to this, I was like, okay, like clearly, let's get the first one out of the way. Very, very, very familiar with the first song. Let's keep going here. After that, like the what was it? The second and third album. Those was a Peace of Mind, and then the Long Time second half of track 3.
Yeah,
Did sound familiar.
Foreplay Long Time to me is just, that's an amazing track.
Oh my gosh. And it gave you like I thought of like Rush, like very much, it gave you that progressive side of things, but then it also kind of jumped into the catchier style that was that Boston was also producing. So like very well balanced in that regard. When did the first track for you got from a vinyl perspective was 1 through 4, is that right? And then you said "Smoking's" on the back half?
Yeah, you get More Than a Feeling, Peace of Mind, and Foreplay Long Time. That's the first side.
Yeah.
Okay.
And side 2 is every other song after Rock and Roll Band.
Yeah. Okay. So it's Rock and Roll Band, Smoking.
It's a Ride, Something About You, and Take Me Home Tonight.
So yeah, like I love those. I mean, look, Peace of Mind, Foreplay Long Time, definitely top tier. But I love track 7 and 8. Something About You, Let Me Take You Home Tonight. Those two were I also found myself going back to just on repeat. But they're also fun. There wasn't a song on here that I would skip. There's not one.
Yeah,
maybe the first one. because I've heard it so much. It's very much like the Wild Cherry situation.
Yep,
it was like the Wild Cherry. It's what it exactly reminded me of with Play That Funky Music. So for me, I was like, okay, I know this one by heart. Let me just move on to the things I'm not as familiar with.
Yep, and just like the Wild Cherry album, I feel like this is one of those albums where, of course you're gonna know the one hit on this album. Of course you're gonna know what it is. Just by, even if you don't know the band, if you don't know the name of the song, you're going to hear the song, you're going to know what it is. Like that's just the popularity of the song. But after like actually listening to this whole entire album, whenever I did it, however many years ago, it's like, oh my God, this whole album is amazing. Like I loved it, every single song. And even as I got older, like re-listening to it for this show, it's like, wow, it just doesn't change like at all. It's all good.
Yeah. So one of the things that made me select this album, there were a couple things. One, the fact that Justin did work in the recording industry, or pursued that. Another was, we talked about compression in the last conversation.
Yeah.
And there is some compression in this album.
Yeah.
Which is, one of those things that I think is something that Tom was probably doing. But one of the, I guess, back to the songs, the song that really, I don't know, maybe a week or so after, as I was playing it again and we were getting ready for this show, I was thinking about Rock and Roll Band. And I'm like, he's talking about, we were just another band out of Boston, and I'm like, wait a second, they weren't a band.
Yep. Like it was just the one guy. He made this story up.
Did he just make this shit up?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it does make me think, as I read into it, like the band Mother's Milk and that they were playing and stuff. So he did have experience. He was going out and playing bars and So and actually when they were signed as Mother's Milk and not Boston. And they were kind of one of the guys recommended that they change their name. So
that's a fair point.
Yeah.
Fair reason to bring up.
Yeah. But it did. I was kind of like, wait a second, did he just make all this shit up?
Yeah.
Because he mentions being in Rhode Island. And I was like, wait, is that all fake?
Yeah. Yeah. That is such a fun song too. I love how upbeat that is. And actually the way the story is told, it reminds me a little bit of the movie That Thing You Do, with the Oneaters, the Wonders, and just knowing how it, like, how they took off and the processes of being signed and everything else that kind of came along with it. It is an intriguing story for him to kind of go through that, and then later finding out that he technically didn't have like the band, which I too would question, did he just make that up or not?
Right.
It's interesting.
Kind of going back to a comment that Bob made about the second album, Slump, earlier there. He made a comment. Some of the songs on the second album actually are, they had them in their pocket.
Oh yeah, these
yeah. Some of those songs do show up, and I mean the second album to me is just like the first and the second albums could be a double album. They really are. I know I sent that to you guys a couple days ago or whatever, saying, hey, if you're getting tired of this one, listen to the second album.
Yeah.
But I pulled out Corporate America, which was the album that I saw him tour on, and it's completely different. Brad's with them, but they have added a female vocalist.
Oh,
it's
cool.
Not on Spotify. You have to listen to it on YouTube.
Oh, interesting.
And it's interesting with today's climate, talking about corporate America. And Tom was definitely in tune with a lot of that stuff, Peace of Mind mentions that a lot.
I was gonna say Peace of Mind is all about that. Yeah. That was I think one of the things that I gravitated towards most was that song and just his lyrics to what that was. And I very much live and work in a heavy corporate environment myself now, and it's very much exhausting after the chase, and very competitive.
You're climbing to the top of the corporate ladder.
It's the rat race, but I love, like, he's just like, I just want my peace of mind. Like, I'm good. I don't care about, I don't mind if I get left behind.
I am right there, man.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. And I know Bob, who's, in the chat.
Yeah.
I know he's thinking the same thing. It's like, all right, do we really need all this, this nastiness? It's tiring.
Yeah. It's cutthroat.
Yeah,
a lot
it really
of it's
is.
And unless if you haven't worked it, it's hard to like relate to it. But yeah, once you're in it, it's rough. A couple things here. Matt said, everybody jump over there, hit the thumbs up. Appreciate it, Matt. Thank you, Matt. Bob also said, yeah, I've heard all these songs a million times, so it's good to hear them with fresh ears. Yeah, for sure. Yep. And that's the great thing too, right? You got, John, especially pointed out that, this is something you've had on for so much time throughout your life. And it's got to be, it's great that you could still come back to this at some point, even if you did take this, hiatus from the album and fall kind of right back in love with a lot of it. And I'm sure for you, it also is like kind of a time, jump back in time kind of mentality. We got Dope Comics in the chat as well. Couple on, Dope?
Hey, what's up?
Thinking in terms of, we've talked a couple times about seeing live bands, and I've seen a lot of live bands, and ELO is the one band that I would say that I've never seen that would fall into this same genre. But I'd seen most of the other bands that were this arena rock or whatever you want to pigeonhole them in. And so Boston was one of the bands I hadn't seen. And that was a reason why I went to see them in 2002. I was still sick of their music.
Yeah.
But I was kind of like, you know what? I've never seen them. I need to see them. I'm going to go see them.
Yeah.
And their opening was one of the best most memorable openings that I've ever seen.
Oh, nice.
Because it was at Tweeter, which is now, I don't even know what they call it now, Comcast, I think, in Mansfield. But it's, it's an outdoor theater. And, the stage is open, and the guitar techs and everybody's out there, and they're testing the drums, and they're doing the test. And there's this guy out there with a guitar, and he's got a ball cap on, and he's playing the guitar, and he's just kind of checking everything out and stuff. And then he just takes and whips his hat off and kicks into, I can't even remember what song they opened up with, but it might have been Peace of Mind or More Than a Feeling. and it was Tom Scholz. He'd been out on the stage for 15, 20 minutes, just kind of checking out, making sure his guitar was right. And he just whips his hat off and kicks into it, and the whole band just walks out on stage. And then this like spaceship comes down out of the overhead, you know. It was like, it was awesome. Cool.
That's great.
You know, because they've got that, as I pointed out in the last show, that album and that concept of that Ovation guitar being the spaceship is iconic. You know, and I mean, it carries through to all of their albums.
Yeah.
But it's just iconic.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, we talked, when did we talk? I guess at the end of last show, after we signed off, and you told us this is going to be the album, and you briefly talked about the cover. And I feel like I've looked at that cover a million times and I did not notice the detail. I mean, I never took the time to look closely at it, the way you guys pointed out the fact that these are flying guitars in outer space. So go ahead.
And now that you pointed out, you can never unsee it.
Right. Yeah. Totally.
It'll always be guitars now.
Absolutely. Which is, as it should. Like, I love it. It's so cool. I thought, I don't know if I just thought it was almost like a mushroom or like something way trippier. You know, it's the 70s. Like, I mean, the colors and everything certainly are, you know, psychedelic in that regard. But yeah, it's really cool. And then, so when you suggested the other day and said, you know, if you guys want to go check out album number 2, I did go to it and I was about to listen to it and I saw the cover and I was like, oh, cool. Continuation of that, you know, that cover, that guitar. But I held off because I didn't want to jump ahead. I wanted to just stay focused on this album. I definitely want to continue listening and I want to give the second album it's time, you know, but for this discussion and everything else, I wanted to just kind of have, you know, fresh ears just for this. But yeah, it was cool to see the guitar on that one too.
The other thing I get a kick out of the album cover is on the back side, you got the whole band, right?
Boom. Right,
you got Sid Hashian with that big afro, right? The drummer. And it's like, you know, Brad there in the Brad's in the white jacket, Barry Goudreau's in the red. I can't think of the bass player's name, but you know, they're all
they actually have their names all up top. Right.
Yeah,
there.
it's a very 70s album, you know. But then, you know, now to learn that, yeah, they played a little bit on the album, you know, it's kind of like pretty
makes you wonder.
Yeah.
Yes, right. Yeah. So we have Barry, Tom, Sib, Bradley, and Fran. That's at least what the names on top say. Oh, I'm blown up. Hey, what's up, guys?
Nice.
And then there's the beautiful front. It actually has a name down here of whatever artist made this album cover too.
Oh, who is it?
Can
you make it?
You guys can see it. Roger Hussein, I believe.
Yeah. It's an amazing album cover. I mean, that is one of those album. That's one of those album covers that you would see and buy without ever hearing.
Yeah, right.
I'm actually going to look up this artist real quick.
Be a good poster too.
Yeah,
which I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
I sold my T-shirt. I had one.
Nice. By the way, side note for our discussion from comparing Wild Cherry, Play That Funky Music, just on Spotify. These numbers are just Spotify. For those who are just jumping in, we were curious, you know, comparison of which had more listens based on the Spotify algorithm. So Play That Funky Music from Wild Cherry, which is the first album that we broke down on the first episode, has over 350 million hits, and the Boston More Than a Feeling has over 1 billion. So just
that
over
tracks.
1 billion. So yeah. So just to give a little context, it's about about 3 times the amount. Again, this is just Spotify. It technically, there's so many other, you know, things that would play into that, but I was just curious.
Gives you an indication.
Yeah.
So like what album? I mean, all right. So Justin, I had to kind of snicker a little bit when you said that you liked Something About You and Let Me Take You Home Tonight. I feel like those are the weak songs.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought that too, honestly. The last 2, but they're still good though.
Yeah, they're good songs, but I find them to be weak.
Still good.
Wow, interesting. I find myself Something About That hook in Something About You. I can't even think of the lyric now. I've been like singing them on like left and right just as we replay these songs. As I replay these songs, I just like the lyrics are in my head now. But just that chorus of Something About You, it almost leaves me with like, it just leaves me with like, I gotta hear, like it's like I'm leaning in and I'm like, I want more of that, and it just gives you like a hint of it, and then it takes it away. I don't know. There's something about that chorus or that hook that I'm just like, I love it, and I'm waiting for more of it every time I listen to it. And then I don't know. Let me take you home tonight. It's just like I think it's a super catchy song. Like just
no, it is.
And it's also a good change of pace compared to some of the rest of the album. Like I do feel like some of it kind of blends to, oh yeah, that definitely sounds very close to More Than a Feeling, or it has that vibe kind of Rock and Roll Band and Peace of Mind kind of had close similarities to that. But Let Me Take You Home Tonight was just very relaxed and chill, maybe romantic if you want to call it that. Yeah. I was saying that, like, I was like, technically this, listening to the lyrics closely, I'm like, either this is a really nice, like, this guy's very passionate about this girl that he likes, or it could come off really creepy if it's someone who he barely knows.
Right.
Like just a little bit between that one and Something About You. By the way, another side note here. And I'll send you what I listen to, guys. Like I said, I just I typed in Boston interviews on YouTube just to like see what was out there, and one of them had a highlight that for More Than a Feeling, and how he wrote that song when he was or he had lyrics of that song when he was a kid, and he wrote it based on something like when he was like kind of fallen for somebody when he was like 10 years old or whatever. It was like kind of those feelings that he was getting, and writing about it. And later he revealed that it had to do because people were like, was this girl real? Was it a fictional character? Like what, who was this? And later in life, I don't know when or how far along, he revealed that it was like his cousin, like like, yeah, like his older cousin who, like, I mean, again, he was like 10 years old at the time or whatever, didn't know anything.
Yeah.
But like, everybody's like listening to the story.
All that stuff.
Yeah, you hear the story, and then they're like, "Oh," like it just adds this little taint onto the
cringe.
Like, yeah,
is the girl as real as the band he says that he goes around with in Rhode Island?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I don't know. What's
Mix it all up. No.
Yeah, right.
That's crazy though.
By the way, Liz said never noticed the guitar. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yep.
I didn't
now you're never going to see it.
My guy John is in the chat, says, but Justin also likes Uncanny X-Men annuals a lot too, so take his opinion with a grain of salt. I love annuals, especially the X-Men annuals. So very true, John.
Thanks, John.
Patrick, Big Lion Cat in the chat. What is going on? Meow.
Hey, BLC.
I think I'll be hopping on his channel later, actually.
Patrick. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
By the way, this is I think our first time, or maybe it was my second time now, doing a back-to-back. So I'll be kicking off another one here at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, you got another one at
John
9
and Zach. Yeah. I mean, Peace of Mind, if I had to rank them, like it went like, other than number one, I think it had to go Peace of Mind, Foreplay, Long Time, Something About You, Let Me Take You Home Tonight, and then the rest kind of just blended in. Yeah, like, and I had a note that's Smokin' reminded me of was it Smokin'? Yeah, Smokin' reminded me of ZZ Top's LaGrange. The very beginning of that, the din, like it starts out like just you know what I mean? Yeah.
No, I thought the same thing actually.
I loved it. I'm like, yeah,
reminded me of that actually.
Yes, and that's the one thing about this whole album is this is perfect car riding music for me. I like, to me, this is like a road trip kind of album. Put this on and just cruise. It could be nice out with the top down if you have that capability, or just the windows down or whatever. But I just picture this album as something you're just like cruising down a highway and just like loving life. Like it's very positive vibes, which I also, stands out to me for this album. So I would definitely, recommend this to anybody.
Justin, I love the imagery you just put in my mind because that sounds so nice right now.
Yeah, dude.
Sunshine, windows down, listen to a dope album. Yeah.
You're just on your way to Terrificon, it's summer. You're driving on your way to Terrificon. That's going to be you this upcoming summer in 2026.
Yeah, it's funny because I listened to this album like 3 times today, and it now it almost seems too fast.
Mm,
You know,
interesting. Yeah.
I mean, when you think in terms of its 35 minutes or whatever it is, it really goes pretty quick.
It does.
It does.
But yeah, I think Foreplay Long Time to me is probably always going to be my favorite.
Yeah.
Just because it's so different. You get that, it kind of takes you on a journey,
Yeah, for sure.
as you go through Foreplay.
Gives you the
7.5 minutes.
foreplay, and then it goes on for a long time.
Yeah.
Exactly it.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Oh God.
But yeah, and I mean, I More Than a Feeling and Peace of Mind, I've heard a lot. I've heard those first 3 songs a lot. But yeah, I mean, Rock and Roll Band and Smokin' are probably the other songs that really stand out to me.
Yeah.
Hitch a Ride's probably the kind of
It's a little bit of a change of pace, but I love those acoustic guitars in the beginning of that song. Stands out to me. Just more of like the way they were recorded, or the type of sound that you get from that. I mean, it's not that the entire song it goes into the heavier guitars and stuff, but yeah, those acoustics in the very beginning are, I think, worth go back, listen again, just like tune out there, just to vibe out to that beginning part.
Yeah,
I did read something that Tom Schultz, that was one of the things that he did get help on in the recording, was of the acoustic guitars, how to record the acoustic guitars properly.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, no, for me, I mean, aside from More Than Feeling, because that's, so well known, definitely Smokin' is up there for me. Foreplay Long Time, like you guys were saying. Hitch a Ride, I did like. Peace of Mind was good. And then, I think Rock and Roll Band, and then the last 2 are just like, that's kind of like my list a little bit.
It's crazy too. Like I'm looking at just the plays from Spotify, and those last 2 are the lowest by a long shot. Those last three. Hitch a Ride is 37 million. Let Me Take You Home is 21 million, and Something About You is 17. So maybe a million of that is me, just from the last one. Because I really was going back to those last 2 a lot.
They were 6 last week.
Yeah. That's interesting because it sounds like too, it's like almost as the farther you get into the album, the less listens there are, which is
it's probably just a natural thing too.
Yeah. I wonder if people like dip out towards the end of the album.
I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of albums are like that, as far as just a general count for Spotify specifically.
Yeah, probably.
I could see people just dip in.
Yeah, it's interesting for me. I mean, this whole experiment that we're all doing, it's interesting to me to listen to a whole album, because I don't find that the younger generations listen to a whole album. They have more of a tendency to.
Not many, no.
They typically don't.
Right.
They're not taught that. They're not taught that. That's why. It's because radio says, here's a really cool song. Listen to this one individual song. After that, I'm going to change it up and give you a whole different artist. Like that's just radio, and not even. I mean, now radio is old too, but like, even the Spotify's and iTunes of the world, they all put big hit singles, in your face, and that's what they hope that you gravitate towards.
Honestly, even just social media, like thinking about like TikTok videos and like reels on Instagram, how people will use a popular song consistently over and over and over again. And honestly, I've discovered artists like that before.
Oh, same.
But it's only because of that one song. I mean, I feel like it's definitely still rare for people to go in and start at the top of an album and just let it play.
Yeah.
Like but it's really fun to find those people, especially like at my age. I'm like, oh, okay, you're cool. I like you. Yeah.
To me, I always see it as like someone who you truly do appreciate an album for what the artist created it to be.
Yeah.
And that's not. I mean, look. I mean, not every artist writes a whole album in
there's some bad ones.
Yeah, there's some bad ones, and some of it's just, and some of it is they're just striving for the one hit wonder, and that's okay too. But yeah, like I mean, there's certainly still bands out there who write for the album, and those are the ones that I want to want to listen to it in the way it was intended. And I know, in other words, I know if I were to write an album, I would hope that someone would take the time to listen to the entire thing and not just pick one thing that stood out to them as catchy and run away with it or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
I think streaming is what has changed that, because we had top 40 even when I was a kid. But if we had a record player or we had an 8-track tape or cassette, you kind of were forced to listen to the whole album. Even if you're your typical lazy kid, you're not going to get up, go over, move the needle, and just keep playing the same song over, So, you were kind of, and, if you were listening to an 8-track tape and, I always think of cars, but you had it in the car and you would, play with it.
Yep.
Man, I just watched that movie Bullet.
I love
that movie.
It's such a great
best boot camp scene ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most realistic, at least.
Yeah.
To my experience. But I think you just kind of wait until the next thing. And it's like, same with cassettes. You'd put them in and you didn't want to rewind. You just let it play through until the song came up again, So
yep.
I think streaming has allowed us to just be able to go click, and go right to whatever else is going to be on there.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I also think back to like CDs. I know when I was burning CDs, that was my way of, I'm going to take the 10 different songs from 10 different artists that I like, and I'm just going to make this album for a party or for whatever, and you were your own DJ in a sense, that was the closest thing you could do to being a radio or a DJ or whatever. So, and I do think, I mean, still, yeah, like even like back when radio was really big, that in a way, similar to streaming now, was something that had an agenda. It put something in your face again and again and again, and you could hear a song 40 times a day just because it was that hot, like I said, like the movie from the O-Neaters, that they just had their album, that one song be played again and again, even though they had a whole album.
Yeah. MTV would play songs every half hour.
Yeah, that's Oh man,
if it was really
back in the day when MTV played music. Whew.
Yep.
Like,
even radio still today, like that's why I can't listen to radio anymore, because you put on a station and if you're on that station for long enough, it's the same song.
Yeah, it's like 10. Yeah, I haven't listened to radio in a very long time, unless it's sports radio. That's the only radio I've listened to now is something that's calling a live game, but nothing music wise. I could never.
Or even as a kid, like I remember being in the backseat of someone's car, whoever it was. Yeah. And I'm like, didn't we just hear this song? I could have sworn I heard it. And then you hear it again. I was like, okay, no, I definitely heard this song before.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you just
all the time.
It's you again. John said, about 8 years ago, I spent a summer listening to full albums front to back. I asked friends and family to give me one album they loved, and I powered through them all. It was a very eye-opening experience. I love that, John. And I'm curious what they were.
Yeah, and John should be our first guest.
It's interesting that he says that he powered through them. It sounds as if it was a struggle, the way he typed that, but maybe not. Maybe not. But I mean, John, even for you, John's Comics with Friends, growing up, like, did you listen to albums front to back, or did you always jump around? I'm curious. Bob says, corporate radio, a song for you. They'll just play the same song to death. And exactly.
Yeah.
Especially the hidden gems. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. Like this is why I gravitated. I think this is why I gravitated towards metal. And not to say there's certainly pop or popular metal, but I always appreciated like things that people never heard of, or like things that were from other countries that you wouldn't discover otherwise unless you did research. And I was always willing to do research, so I would just go digging and trying to find albums that were just unheard of in the States, like that you just never would even consider. And even now, like I can bring up, look, we're probably going to cover albums and bands in the next year or two, however long we do this for, of bands that I hope people have never heard of before. I mean, Avantasia, even though they're probably bigger in Germany, Avantasia to me is still not a radio, friendly
Yeah, I've
band
never
by any
heard of
means.
them, and that's
Yeah.
pretty rare.
Yeah, right. So like, and to me, that's still, they're probably bigger known than some of the others. But I can, I used to, when I had a podcast and I used to write reviews for albums. We used to find the most random and unique, unheard of, underground, very unpolished albums, and they're still out there today. I'll tell you that, like, which is cool. People always say like, oh, music's not the same anymore, or it's not like it used to be, or whatever.
It's there.
It's there. You just got to find it. You got to find it.
Underground.
You're just buried by all this radio and all this streaming that's putting all these things in front of you, the top 40s again and again and again, which has always been that way. But yeah, you got to you got to do a little work if you want to find those gems that are, as Bob was pointing out, like hidden. But they are definitely out there. We have Gore, by the way, Gore Vidal in the chat. What's going on, Gore? He says Boston.
You're right.
Fleetwood Mac's
Rumors,
right,
Gore.
Are the most rumors are the album rumors are the most requested albums at my friend's record shop. He can't record shop. He can't get them in stock, but he finds it annoying that those albums customers want. That's pretty fun. Wait, he finds it, but he finds it annoying. Oh, just because they're like big hits. Yeah, these are definitely.
Yeah, Rumors is an amazing album.
Oh,
too.
Yeah.
That's one of my top albums of all time, I would say, for sure.
Here's some of the albums that John
I've listened to all of that.
He said power through in that even if the band was unknown or the genre wasn't for me. Oh, that's fair. I challenged myself to expand that's great. I love that.
Yeah, I actually did the same thing when I started listening to albums front to back. I did the same thing where I started asking everyone and anyone that I could ask, hey, what's some albums that you like, or what's an artist that you like, just to keep getting those recommendations, just to listen to new stuff.
Going.
Yeah, I loved it. I still do it.
Yep.
It's funny that Liz earlier talked about Left Overture by Kansas, and Bob, Celtic Wolf, he and I used to brew beer, and he and Chuck, the other guy that we were brewing beer with, they're big into prog metal or prog rock.
Yeah.
And I'm like, have you guys ever listened to Kansas? And they're like, no, like Dust in the Wind and Carry On My Wayward Son. I'm like, yeah, those are the two songs that they play on the radio.
Right.
Like, have you ever listened to anything else? And they're like, no. And I kind of turned them on to it. And it's like, that's some good music. But
that is a band I haven't gotten fully into yet that I probably should.
There we go. Operation Mindcrime.
You're talking about Queensryche?
Queensryche, yeah.
I actually don't know what that is.
Oh yeah, they're a metal band. They've been out for a while too, but it's funny. Queensryche
strong in the metal game.
I would consider
crazy here.
I would consider Queensryche almost more of a pop. It's not pop, but it's more of a popular metal rock and roll band.
I got you.
Yeah, Miss World Chile. Miss World from Chile is a death metal singer.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Won the competition. Yeah, I'll have to look that up. John says my music knowledge is very stunted. I tend to look older music from the 50s and not like older music in the 50s and not much modern music. Interesting. Yeah, like I wouldn't consider like 70s modern or anything like that either. But yeah, that's I think we have to give John another challenge. That's what I'm getting out of this chat here.
Yeah.
Go listen to Boston, John.
Matt says we will fix you. Yeah.
Yeah. If anyone's gonna do it.
Yeah.
John and I both like movies, so
there you go. He spends more of his time with movies and comics, which we do appreciate. So his knowledge for that.
All right, well we need to start wrapping up here because you've got another show. Any final comments?
Yeah,
this album's great. I love this album.
Yeah,
I own it physically. That's saying something.
That is saying something, and not just any type of style, but the vinyl. So
yes.
I picked this knowing that you saw it, but I figured I'd take a chance because I wanted Justin to hear it.
Yep.
Yeah,
dude, and I am happy that you chose this as an album, John. This is easily if we were ranking them, or I guess we do. I know we like to kind of pick rankings at the end. I would easily give this at a minimum a 9 out of 10. I understand why it is, recognized the way it is. And shame on me for not getting to it sooner, but better late than never. That's the great thing about music, right? It's always there. But
Exactly.
I loved this album, and this is an album that I will front to back have on in my playlist. And when I'm hitting the road, which maybe my next drive to a casino, this is going to be playing. This is just something, especially, I don't know, summertime vibes. That description I gave earlier is just what I picture when you're listening to smoking or a rock and roll band. They're just very, very upbeat. And also when I'm just in a mood for something positive, man, just something uplifting. This is something like that. There's times
the
where
harmony, the clapping.
It's catchy. It's
very
the tunes are absolutely. So good energy overall. But yeah, good. Seriously, John, man, I'm glad you picked this album. And
yeah, it's a good pick.
I'm gonna take time to listen to the rest or the other albums. I do want to go through that. I won't rush it, but I will, over these next probably few months, really dive into the rest of Boston and yeah, man. And now again, as we said before, Wild Cherry, Play That Funky Music comes on, and you're just like, oh, I know everything about this band now. We just broke this whole album down. Now the same thing with this one. If I hear this on the radio or wherever, I'm sure I'll hear it again. More than a feeling as I play it all the time. Be able to carry a heavier conversation.
Yeah. So Justin, you said you gave it a 9 out of 10. You said
I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10. Yeah.
Okay, John.
It's probably a 10 out of 10, but I'm gonna give it a 9 out of
10. In all honesty, I think I would give it a 9 out of 10 too.
Yeah. Which is outstanding.
Yeah.
Where are you at, Noah?
Honestly, as far as song length, album cover, I'm gonna give this one a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, that's fair. You're not
high score for this album, you guys. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. As it should be. Yes, John knows. Justin hates going for. I don't know how I just dove into giving the score first, but yeah, that.
I know you unpromptedly gave that score. So I was like, all right, we're getting into it
now. He said, I definitely need. He's talking about. I definitely need help. That's why I spent the summer trying to expand my taste. Yeah, and Bob's pointing out Queensryche, a great concept album. That's another side of it too. We talk a little. I mean, the ones. So far, at least, I mean, my Avantasia pick was a concept album, and as we talked about, a trilogy. But I look forward to more of that stuff. I'll probably pick a few more concept albums as we get on along here.
I'm going to pick the Tubes. It'll be a contraceptive album.
Oh, the Tubes. Do you, John? Because this was your album, any other mentionings or final thoughts that you want to give to?
No, I'm just. I guess when it comes down to it, I'm really glad to see people looking at this album again. I mean, this album's going to be 50 years old next year.
Crazy. Yeah.
So the fact that young people are listening to it and appreciating it, because I really do see it showing up on reaction channels a lot. And that's what Bob and I watch a lot of reaction channels, and we'll send stuff back and forth to each other. And I really appreciate the fact that, and they've got, to his point earlier, hearing it through someone else's ears and experiencing that, holy crap, this really is good. That joy is nice. With everything that's going on, it's good to see that, because you've mentioned it several times, Justin, how it's very upbeat, and it does make me realize that, so actually, I listened to this album probably for 2 weeks or so, and then I rolled over to the second album just to and now I'm on to Corporate America, which is 5th or 6th. So
nice.
But
I look forward to this.
It's all good stuff, and it does, again, for a band that I hated for a long time, or just really was tired of,
Yeah. Well, awesome pick, man. Awesome pick. Definitely looking forward to listening to more. And for anybody who is watching the replay and you haven't listened to this album, do yourself a favor and check this album out. And while you're doing that, make sure you are following John and Noah. Put all their information in the description below. this is a show we've had. This is episode 3, so I gotta start putting that in there. Episode numbers would be easier to keep track of. But we'll be back again December at a minimum, right, guys? Probably be able to pick something. And Noah, you're up, man. You are up next. So whenever you are ready, if you don't want to share right now, that's okay. Take some time.
I was just looking at an album. I've honestly been thinking about it all show as we've been talking. I don't know if I want to go with it yet because I want to dive into some rap, you guys.
That's
something I want to hear John talk about some rap.
Yeah, man.
That's what I want.
Yep. I'm down for rap. I don't care.
Yeah. We're all open to all of it.
I'll have to see what you've listened to. I think the one I'm thinking of, I know you've listened to it, Justin, because I think we've talked about it.
Okay.
Before.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
More modern music.
Yeah, it's more modern. Yeah.
Or like last few years modern or
No.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I feel like we've talked about this artist at least.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Okay, yeah.
Gore Vidal goes Vanilla Ice.
Yes. So a guy I work with is actually very good friends with him, and he does karaoke and sings with Vanilla Ice fairly often.
Oh wow.
Cool. Just a random fact there.
Yeah.
And he said, would Britney Spears' debut album be considered a concept album? Good question.
Yeah.
Well, Noah, yeah, take your time with it. And we'll, for those watching, we will follow us on Instagram because we'll talk about it, we'll share it there, we'll let everybody know kind of what the next album is going to be, and kind of go from there, and we'll figure out a date because I figure at least December. If we can't get another one this month, we could aim for December for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
To dive into it. So, and I know John's ready to go on his next album already. So we might crack out a few of these before the end of the year. We have to get a Christmas album in there before we.
Oh God, no.
Oh no! Wait, I actually can't do a Christmas album.
That's where the line has been drawn.
Paul McCartney, I'm bouncing this.
There is a limit to what we'll listen to.
We all have our lines. All right, awesome.
Thanks to the chat. Okay.
Yeah,
thanks everybody.
Shout out to the chat.
Thank you guys in the chat. You guys have been very active tonight. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all coming by.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. And check out in the next few days. I'll definitely have an album picked out soon. So make sure to watch our stories in the next few days. We'll definitely shout it out and you guys can listen along before we go live next.
Yep.
Yeah.
And eventually, I know we talked about this, but eventually we'll plan out some guests that can jump in on some of these conversations as well. These have been going really well, but I know we wanted to get some other people's opinions once in a while too. So we'll keep everybody in the loop. All right, gang. Well, as I mentioned, I'm going to go live again in about 20 minutes on this very channel for Omni X-Men with John and Zach. So I know I should just kept it one stream.
Hey, John.
Just change the.
Just bring John on.
Yeah. Or I'll leave John off. I'll keep this John on. That's an upgrade.
Yeah, hey, there you go.
John, you could talk X-Men. Come on.
No, I can, but I'd have to bone up.
He has to read the issue you're reviewing right now.
Yeah. You got time. You got 20 minutes.
You can do it in 20 minutes.
That's right.
Yeah. You can read the issue in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I've got it.
Yeah, probably.
I do. I definitely do.
Yeah, thanks to the chat. Appreciate everybody. You guys smash that like button.
Thank you, everyone.
And until next time, we will talk to you later.
Rock on.